So this is a headline nobody saw coming. Bill and Hillary Clinton have agreed to testify in person in the House investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. Not after subpoena, not after months of stonewalling, but just days before Congress was set to vote on holding them in criminal contempt. That timing alone raises a lot of questions. The New York Times is reporting that former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton have formally agreed to testify before the House Oversight Committee as part of its investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. According to attorneys for the Clintons, both will appear for depositions on mutually agreeable dates. That phrasing matters because this is not public testimony, not a televised hearing, and not under oath in front of cameras. These are closed-door depositions, controlled, limited, and carefully managed. But the context here is crucial. This agreement comes just days before the House was preparing to vote on whether to hold both Clintons in criminal contempt of Congress for failing to comply with document and testimony requests tied to the Epstein probe. In other words, testify now or risk escalation. Now let's talk about why the Clintons are even part of this conversation. Over the years, multiple document releases connected to Jeffrey Epstein have highlighted his extensive network of wealthy, powerful, and politically connected individuals. Among those connections is former President Bill Clinton. Clinton has acknowledged that he took several trips with Epstein decades ago, trips that were later confirmed through flight logs. There are also photographs showing Clinton and Epstein together, including one image that resurfaced showing Epstein in a pool with an identified person during a trip Clinton attended. However, and this is important, Bill Clinton has not been accused of any criminal wrongdoing in connection with Epstein. No charges, no allegations filed, no legal findings. But the Oversight Committee's investigation isn't limited to criminal guilt. It's about access, influence, and accountability. Specifically, how Epstein was able to cultivate relationships with powerful figures across politics, business, and global institutions, and whether those relationships shielded him from scrutiny for years. And that's where Hillary Clinton comes in. While Hillary Clinton has not been directly linked to Epstein in the same way Bill Clinton has, the committee is examining broader questions around political networks, institutional protections, and whether government influence played any role, directly or indirectly, in Epstein's long period of impunity. This is why the Oversight Committee pushed for testimony from both Clintons rather than accepting written responses or third-party statements. And now, with this agreement to testify, the immediate threat of contempt vote appears to be off the table, at least for now. But agreeing to testify doesn't end the story. It starts a new phase. Because once these depositions happen, lawmakers will have sworn testimony on record. The testimony can be compared against existing documents, flight logs, past statements, and other witness accounts. Any inconsistencies could reopen legal and political consequences. There's also the optics. For decades, the Clintons have been among the most powerful political figures in American life, seeing both of them summoned, not voluntarily stepping forward, but responding to congressional pressure, underscore how wide and unresolved the Epstein fallout still is. This investigation isn't just about one man's crime anymore. It's about how systems fail, how warning signs are ignored, and how proximity to power can delay accountability, sometimes for years. And while Bill Clinton has consistently denied any wrongdoing, and Hillary Clinton has remained largely outside the Epstein narrative, their testimony will be closely scrutinized, not just for what they say, but for what they're asked, what they clarify, and what they avoid. Because when Congress starts asking questions about Epstein, it's really about gossip. It's about who knew what and when. And this time, two of the most recognizable names in American politics are officially on the record.